Good morning, good afternoon, happy Friday, everybody. This is Ian Desher, Creative Director at Pivot Group, talking to you, and welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. Appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to have sort of a dual focus today, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll try to cover two topics at once, not at once, one at a time. But first, before we do that, we're going to talk about some of the news from the last month since the last Straight Talk on Social Media. First of all, Pinterest introduced a new look overall. Users right now can choose to stay with the old look for a little while, or can go ahead and get in with the new look. It makes all of the pins on your pin boards just a little bit bigger, so it's even sort of more visual, and the content of Pinterest is taking up even more of your space. The one thing that I think that it does most interestingly, that might sort of be most helpful for marketers at this point, is that when you are actually looking at an image with a pinned image, you can open it up and you look at it, and then over on the right-hand side, you're going to see other pins from that board, and it gives people the option to follow that board, and then other things that this person who pinned this has pinned. So it's just adding some ways to find sort of more content like the content you're looking at and enjoying. So it would be really helpful in terms of referring people who find you on Pinterest over to other things that you've done, or other things that they might be interested in based on the fact that they're interested in your pin. And speaking of Pinterest, they also introduced a few weeks back, they introduced web analytics for their business pages. So if you're signed up as a business page on Pinterest, you can go in and you can start looking at your web analytics and seeing how many people are pinning the things that you post, how many people are repinning your things, things like that. So it's very helpful. This is Pinterest. They only started allowing business pages in the last 6 months, and now introducing web analytics is sort of the next step in terms of giving businesses tools to track how their pages are doing on Pinterest. So you can see that more and more Pinterest is starting to sort of make these steps in the direction of businesses, and making sure that businesses can use their service effectively, and know that they're using it effectively, and measure some ROI with that as well. Facebook, and I'm going to be saying a little more about this later on in the webinar, but just this week Facebook announced that it's going to be offering some new advertising categories. So when you go into create an ad using their Facebook's Power Editor, you can see some of their normal broad categories that they always have based on their own Facebook information that they have from their users. But then they also have some different partners that they have that they are working with, companies that Facebook either has invested in or has bought, that have all sorts of other data about users and things like that. And so now marketers are able to use some of that. So you can see here an example of people who are sort of thinking about buying a very particular type of car, and here's 5.8 million people who fit that category, based on this data that one of Facebook's partners has. So you can see it's really sort of vastly increasing the amount of information that marketers can have, and the specificity that you can have in terms of placing your Facebook ads. So a really powerful new tool, and I encourage you to look at it. And I'm going to explain in just a few minutes how you can go about doing that. I read an article. Forgive the image here. I thought it was too funny not to put this image on the PowerPoint. I read an article recently about how companies on Facebook are now looking not so much into how many likes they have on their Facebook page, or how many followers they have on Twitter, but instead thinking that the magic number is not so much likes, but maybe shares. Shares are really the thing that the number that you want to look at. How many people are actually taking your content and then sharing it with others, and that becomes a better indicator of how your message is getting out. So I thought it was an interesting article, and interesting enough to point out here. Just that the number you may want to start looking at in terms of how your content is being is being received is not just how many people are available to hear that content, but how many people are actually finding it so interesting that they're passing it on to others. And the last thing that I added just a little while ago here, after reading some articles this morning, it sounds like Twitter is going to be launching a new music app, and that's supposed to be happening today, supposedly. So this news about this had been sort of brewing for a while, and then I guess Ryan Seacrest tweeted earlier in the week that he was playing around with the new Twitter music app, so the cat was sort of out of the bag at that point. And so it'll be interesting to see what exactly this music app looks like, you know, how it differs or is similar to some things that MySpace has done, because MySpace is still sort of making a big bid for being a music site. So anyway, more news on that as there are more details, but it'll be interesting to see what that's like when that launches, which again could be today. And so now I want to go into the focus topic. And there are a couple different things we're going to talk about today, as I said. The first thing is that there's this thing called Facebook Ads Power Editor. Now, I don't make any claim to this being a recent development. Power Editor has been available for quite a long time. I just haven't used any. I haven't used the Power Editor before, and so I wanted to share with you sort of how it works, how to get it started, and what some of its unique tools are. And then Facebook, this is a recent thing. Facebook just a couple weeks ago announced their new Facebook Home offering, which actually the app for it is available starting today, I believe. So so this will be timely news for that. So we'll breeze through both of these focus topics and then talk about some takeaways for each one. So first of all, the Power Editor. When you're in Facebook and you are in the Manage Ads section, you have this option here to get the Power Editor started. And so you click on the Power Editor, and then an immediate pop-up came up for me, which is that, hey, this website wants to go ahead and actually use some of your hard disk space, and is that okay with you? And so I said, sure, it's okay with me. Don't mind. And then you have the option, okay, which accounts for your Facebook ads do you want to download information for? Now, I only have, I believe, one Facebook ad account, but you can do some searching around if you want to. And then you click the download button, and this is where the 100 megabytes that it asked for started coming into play. And you can see I took this screenshot sort of as it was downloading all of the information, and it was giving me, you know, these numbers were sort of ramping up, and more checkboxes were appearing on the checkboxes were appearing on the screen, and so this process took probably about 3 or 4 minutes for it to download all the information, and that's downloading information for campaigns that I've run really for the past 3 years now. So it was a good chunk of campaigns that it was trying to download. And then you can see that this is sort of what the Power Editor screen looks like. If you have used Facebook ads before, you'll know that this looks pretty different, and gives you a nice sort of all-in-one screen view of your Facebook ad. So right now, this is my view of all of my campaigns from all time. So you can see the long list here, campaigns going down the side. And then you can click on a various campaign and see just the ads for that campaign. And then you can do things like create an ad within, you know, that's based on another ad. You can create another ad within the campaign. You can switch to the campaign view by using this toggle up here between ads and campaigns. You, of course, can get all of your reporting and all of that. So it's doing everything that the Facebook ads sort of normal view has done for you before. But it's putting it all into an easier format to look at. And then let me walk you through some of what it does. Now this is these are actually active campaigns that we are currently running right now, and I have blocked out the names to protect the innocent. But you can see here how some of these campaigns are doing, how much has been spent so far. So it's really just giving you a snapshot, and this is really the first thing you see when you come in. Snapshot of how your current campaigns are doing. Then it gives you this image library. So instead of having to upload a new image and keep it on your computer each time you want to run a Facebook ad, you could come in and upload a whole bunch of images to your image library and have those there to use later on. So these will always be available for you to use when you are, for future campaigns and things like that. So, so it's helpful to have that image library in one view as well. Now this next screen here, the audiences, this is I think one of the most important things that this Facebook Ads Power Editor does. There are two different kinds of audiences within the Power Editor. First of all, there's a custom audience, and I'll talk about what that is in just a second, and then there's a target audience. So when I clicked on create a custom audience, I was surprised to see this notice here pop up. Basically, it's asking me to accept some terms. Well, why is that? Well, I did some digging, and I've learned exactly what it means to create a custom audience. A custom audience within this Power Editor means that you are taking an existing list you have outside of Facebook. So it might be a phone list, it might be an email list, something like that. Those would be the two most common. You're taking a phone list or an email list and you're uploading that information into Facebook's Power Editor, and then Facebook is going through your list and matching up your phone, those phone numbers or those email addresses with their user data. So what you can do is I could create a custom audience that is from my email list, my email newsletter list, and then I could put out a sponsored story or a Facebook ad to people who are already on this email list that I have, but maybe don't already like my company page, and so this is just, I think it's a super powerful way of using data that you might have outside Facebook to create more of an audience inside Facebook. So that, of course, is why they're asking you to agree to some terms here, right? That there's all sorts of rules about how you can and can't use people's email addresses and phone numbers and things like that. So they want to make sure that you've come by these lists honestly, or at least that you're going to say that you did, anything like that. So that's why you have to actually agree to the terms before you create a custom audience. But again, really a powerful tool that they have here within the Power Editor. And then they have the target audience also. So with the target audience, basically you can select to create a new audience. So I created one called Pivot Standard, and then you can start filling in your target audience how you see fit. So it's the same sort of categories that you have on Facebook ads now, except for what I just mentioned during the news portion of the webinar, which is that they have this new partner categories option here, where you can get all this information and all these targeting categories from their ad partners. So instead of just having the information that Facebook has normally given you to target on, now you're actually getting some really specific, even more specific information from some of their partners. And that is only available within this Power Editor. The partner categories is not something that you're going to get running Facebook ads through the normal screen. The other nice thing about target audiences here is that you can save an audience and then use it later, right? So I might save, if I'm a local company in Greenstown, I might, save my Greenstown targeted list, where I know I just need to go and select that list from a targeted group, and I don't have to reset it up each time. So that's another useful thing they've done here. So going down the side, they have their billing, their conversion tracking. Those things are all sort of what they've been before. Their account settings here, so you can. This is another relatively new thing where now you can. It used to be that Facebook ads were just tied to a single individual's account. Now you can actually add people into a Facebook ads account, so that anybody can access this shared account. So that's also a really helpful thing here. So I could go ahead and add admins to this if I wanted to. So that is the look at Facebook Power Editor, and I'll talk about some takeaways about that in just a minute. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the Facebook Home service. So Facebook Home was just announced, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, and as you can see here in this ad they've got for it, it rolls out today in terms of the downloads of this app. What Facebook Home is, it's an application for Android phones and it allows users to basically, in some ways, sort of turn their mobile phone into a social media hub, into something that is sort of just really fully integrated with their Facebook account. So let me show you sort of how that works. First of all, here are a few things that the Facebook Home will do for you. When you start up or when you're on your home screen, it's going to give you some of the latest pictures. It's going to show you some of the latest pictures from your users. So this is basically things that you'd see in your Facebook news feed are now going to be showing up as your picture on your home screen on your phone, and then the person's status that they posted about it, or whoever they tagged as with them in it, or things like that are going to be posted there, and you can like it right there from your home screen. So you can see how they're integrating the Facebook technology right into the cell phone technology, right? You don't have to start up a Facebook app for this to happen. It's just automatically happening when you open your phone. And also then in terms of push notifications that you'll see on your phone, you'll get push notifications not only from Facebook applications like Instagram and the sort of normal things that you might see in your in your news feed, so you can see somebody here posting that they are at Beretta Pizza with a friend and that sort of thing. But then you'll also see phone calls that you may have missed. So it's combining the notifications that a cell phone would normally give you with the notifications that Facebook would normally give you into these sort of one-stop push notifications. And it gives you the ability to then click on various ones that you want to see and find more about, and you can sort of swipe away ones that you don't care about, and those ones will go away. So again, just another way that they're integrating Facebook into sort of normal cell phone technology. And then they've given you this ability to incorporate what they're calling chat, but of course it's texting, and Facebook is really trying to break down the idea. Facebook would have us believe that, and I don't think they're wrong, but their sort of philosophy is that any interaction you have with somebody, whether you're texting them or chatting them or sending them messages, it's all sort of one big chat, right? So if I send my wife a text and then I send her an email later on, and then we chat online for a few minutes, that's all considered sort of one interaction with Facebook. So when they talk about chat being incorporated across different applications, then what they mean is that really any messaging back and forth between people all happens in any application. So you can see that they are here they're listening to music in a music application, and all of a sudden this notification pops up that somebody has just sent them a text or a chat, again, however you want to describe it, and you can actually click from right within this screen without leaving the app that you're in, and respond to that person. So again, Facebook is sort of seeing chatting, texting as one of the fundamental things that people want to do with their phones, which of course it is, and so therefore they're giving you the ability to do that without actually disturbing any of the applications that you're in. And then again, I sort of mentioned this before, but the Facebook messages and any texting or chat that you've had, that's all combined into one long sort of stream of your conversation with somebody. So whether they're sending you a longer email or whether they're texting you, it's all in one conversation as far as Facebook is concerned. And then sort of the last little feature, your profile picture is always sort of down at the bottom of the screen here when you're on the home page. And you actually, the way you sort of launch into the app section or go into your messenger to start texting or use the last application that you did, you actually tap your finger on your profile picture and drag it over to where you want to go. So you drag it over to that place, and it really is sort of trying to give this sense to users of, okay, now I'm actually going to this place, right? I'm actually, in a sense, my avatar is being taken into this new area. So they've made that almost sort of a physical thing where you're dragging your profile picture over into this new area. So that is Facebook Home. And again, I'll talk about some takeaways about that in just a minute. But first, some takeaways from the Power Editor first. First of all, it really is a more robust solution than the older Facebook ads layout. It's for one thing, it's all sort of in one big screen, so you can do everything within one window, whether it's looking at reports or creating new ads or setting up targeting. It's also nice that it's giving you these image library options, the ability to add multiple administrators, things. So it is a more robust situation. The new targeting options that they have through their advertising partners are very powerful. And certainly there are questions that this will raise about privacy. I'm sure Facebook has settings for individuals where you can turn off the ability to be targeted in this way. But still, it is raising these. It will raise more questions about privacy on Facebook. But for marketers, it really is a powerful tool that lets you get super specific about your potential customers' situations and who you might want to target. And so that's worth looking at least. And there is a learning curve, but there's really not much of one. As I was looking at the Power Editor and getting to know it, I realized this is yes, it's different, but it's not too different. If you've already been running Facebook ads, it really won't be that much of a switch for you. There'll be a couple of new things and a couple of surprises, but in general, I think it's a pretty easy system to learn. It's pretty intuitive. So that's good news for anybody who's thinking about using it. And then just as far as I'm concerned, the top differences and the main things that are helpful about this Power Audience is the ability to save target audiences so that you can use them later and not have to sort of recreate them, and the ability to create these custom audiences where you're actually creating targets for your Facebook ads based on a phone list or an email list that you have. I think that's going to be a really powerful way for companies to build the audiences of their Facebook pages to get information out to more and more people, particularly if you are if you are a company that ever borrows lists or things like that. So so that's definitely worth knowing about and looking at there. Some takeaways now for the Facebook Home. I mean, in some ways, I think this is sort of the ultimate next step in the idea of social media being a mobile thing. Social media has already sort of more and more people are doing their social media on mobile phones, whether it's on a Facebook app or a Twitter app or whatever. But this is now, I mean, it's really fully integrating the actual functions that your cell phone does with some of the features of social media. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that. There is, there had been rumored that there was going to be like a Facebook phone. They were actually going to create their own phone, and this is a step in that direction, but it's not actually the Facebook phone. And so it may be that no Facebook phone is coming. That this is in fact what they're doing. And as far as we know at this point, we don't know whether or not it's going to come out for the iPhone or not. So I suspect that Facebook would be looking into that. Obviously they'd sort of be fools not to be looking into that because iPhones are used by so many people. But that announcement is not out yet. I assume that it's possible that Apple has some issues with Facebook sort of taking over the cell technology in that way. I don't know. We don't know. So it'll be interesting to see if that is something that gets rolled out for the iPhone as well. The jury is still out, but so far this really does look like a powerful integration. It looks like it's well thought through. What I read in one of the articles that I saw about Facebook Home was that after Mark Zuckerberg, he was originally going to try to make an app that was going to be the same across all phones for Facebook, and that was sort of universally trashed, and nobody was happy with the results. And since that happened, Facebook has actually been hiring a lot of specifically mobile developers and people who are experts in mobile technology. And so this is the result. What we're seeing with Facebook Home is really the result of that. And so And so far, again, to me, it looks like it's really a powerful thing. They're not being sort of heavy-handed about how Facebook is integrated with your mobile phone. It's really just giving you sort of more connection with your friends in an easier way. So so far, I think it looks good. And so I think for anybody who's thinking about what could this mean for my business, I think we'll have to wait and see sort of what the impact is, what the adoption rate is, how many people really start using this and getting into this. But at a certain point, there will be opportunities for marketers here. I'm sure that Facebook has a plan to incorporate ads into this in some way. I can't imagine it will be ads that pop up on a person's home screen, but that's possible. I mean, that's what they're doing with sort of pushing people's posts onto your home screen is not a far step away from a promoted post where as a marketer you could actually have the image that you've put up for your promoted post ad show up as somebody's home screen when they first turn on their phone. So I think we'll have to see sort of what Facebook starts offering in terms of the Facebook home and the opportunities for marketers, but I'm sure there will be. Facebook, of course, is in the business of making money, and so they'll be looking for ways to monetize this Facebook home as well, in addition to just the sales of the phone and that sort of thing. So that is my my webinar on the Facebook Power Editor and Facebook Home. We'll be back next month, the second Friday on May 10th, and absolutely for real, I promise this time we'll be talking about the Facebook social graph search. We've sort of been waiting for that technology to roll out, but we will be in a position to look at that, and so we will do the webinar on the Facebook social graph search next month. For our telecommunications clients, Dave Newstratton's next Straight Talk on Telco Marketing webinar is Wednesday, May 1st at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a really great weekend. And remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.